Okay, let's talk about great ideas I had today and things I saw. I saw a cop getting his car washed. I thought to myself, why isn't the cop washing his own car?
Around this time,
Matter of fact,
1837, Lincoln
why
comes to
don't
Springfield,
all government
and
employees
he
that are
came into a
bitching
general
about
store,
getting their car taken away,
for
why don't we give them
bedding.
bicycles,
It's a famous story.
used bicycles?
Was his first encounter with Joshua
Make 'em
Speed,
fix
who
'em.
wanted to be one of his very close friends.
How about
And
bike
he asked how much
paths
something would
everywhere in the
cost.
city?
It was quite a
Go
lot. He was in
green.
debt.
How
And
about
Speed, who really didn't know him, he had seen him before as a politician, but he didn't know him. This
how
is
about if they
depressing.
gotta have
This
a
is
car?
the most depressed man I've ever seen.
They get
The
them
most
wrenched
melancholy
at,
face I've
not
ever
at Jiffy
seen.
Lube, but at vocational schools, where we teach people how to
This is the period when he's reading
fix
Byron,
cars.
and there are
And you got a
poems
supervisor
about,
there to make sure they do it right.
Dread,
That'd save us a lot
the
of money, wouldn't it?
apocalypse, about the end of the world. We know that he had the hypo, which is a kind of depression,
Thinking.
and that he and Speed both had it. And this is one of the things that made them soulmates.
I have no doubt that it is the peculiar condition of you and me to dream dreams of Elysium, exceeding all that anything earthly can
I
realize.
had another great idea. It's coming.
Lincoln
I should
wrote
have wrote it down.
Speed a series of letters, and Lincoln was telling him about his views about life and where suffering came from and how we ought to respond to it. Lincoln was actually counseling Speed, who was very troubled. He was also a melancholy man.
My friend turned me on to this one.
If, as I expect
go down to the
will
border,
at some time be
get
agonized
cigarettes for
and distressed,
pennies on the dollar.
let me,
and you
who
bring 'em
have
up here and
some
sell 'em
reason to
because,
speak with judgment
as we all
on
know,
such a subject,
nicotine's more addictive
let
than
me
crack.
beseech you to ascribe it to
And
the
it costs
causes
about the
I
same
have
now.
mentioned.
The letters are filled with the sense that they are unusual, that there's a painful difference between them and the mass of the world, that they are but 1 in 1,000.
I tell you, Speed, our forebodings,
name was
for which
Speed.
you and I are rather peculiar, are all the worst sort of nonsense.
Somebody asked me today if I did drugs.
Creates a very vivid sense of the relationship between
It's
these two
because I'm
men,
so
which
hyper.
really had
I
no
did that a lot.
parallel
So
in
when I
Lincoln's
was
life.
running, I smoked so much
I do not
nicotine,
feel my
cigarettes, all
own
that shit.
sorrow much more keenly than I do
I
yours.
wasn't even insulted. I just told them
You know my desire
Can't afford
to befriend you
drugs.
is everlasting.
can't afford fucking food, can't afford coffee. He
Surely
bought me a cup of coffee
Speed
yesterday.
is
How am I
one
fucking
of
supposed to
Lincoln's
afford drugs?
most intimate
Please.
associates. They
do
sleep
do
in the
drugs,
same
but
bed for 4
I
years.
can't afford them right now. I
We
quit
will
drinking.
continue to argue whether this is evidence that Lincoln
I'm saving about
was
$5 a day by
homosexual.
not smoking cigarettes. I just pick the butts out of the
I was on the radio
coffee
once,
shops and roll
and a man
myself.
called in and he
It's not
said,
bad. Tobacco's
Mr.
tobacco.
Wilson, I'm a gay man, and
Oh.
there's this story in the
There's-
gay community that Lincoln was homosexual.
They're trying to say Lincoln was a
Now, it
homo.
matters to us
Cut.
whether that story
I don't
is
think
true
so.
or false. And we
No,
look
no,
to
no,
people
no,
like
no.
you to help us understand these things. Speed tells that story
Because he was speed.
that Lincoln didn't have a bed to
He
sleep
said
in.
Speed.
And he said, well, you can sleep in my bed. I got a bed upstairs. And I said, if you think there's something provocative about them sleeping in the same bed together, that has a special meaning, then you will think, you might be inclined to think one thing. For
Ooh,
me,
oh, here it
doesn't,
is.
because it's so common in the
Spielberg
19th
and
century,
Lucas.
Lincoln, in traveling the circuit for all those years, slept many persons to the bed.
I had a
in these
ceremony
country
today at USC
hotels.
because
All the
they
time.
just
Now,
built a
again,
new
that may say to
film school
somebody,
there, or
more and more
put
evidence.
money into it and
To me,
really made it a
simply
nice
means
building,
this is the way.
editing
people
bays,
slept.
all this stuff.
I don't know
I
anything
thought,
that makes me think that Lincoln
Wow,
and
what a
Speed
great
had
idea.
a
Here's what you do.
homosexual
You get the whole damn
It
school
was
to make
always
a feature
suspected
film.
because of the
Everybody works on the
I dealt
goddamn
with it.
thing.
I never dealt with it when I wrote my book because my book is about Lincoln the president. By which time I
Kinda
thought
cool
any
idea.
such stories would be in
Thanks.
a remote past.
The
Well,
whole
actually,
fucking
they
school
were.
makes a feature like a good one.
Since when he was at the
I
Soviet
read a funny
School,
article about a guy that
he went every
insulted the
summer
Slumdog
to
Millionaire, won
escape
8
the heat
Academy
of the
Awards.
White House.
I agree.
An affair went on.
What just
usually
happened to
when
my
Todd was
Hollywood? Is it now
visiting
Bollywood?
New York or out of town.
I wake up
So
every
she
morning
was
and I go,
away, and it's at this
Good
point that,
morning,
Lincoln
Bollywood!
goes to the summer house, and there is evidence, 2 counts of evidence about this, that one night a
Saw the
soldier
Duke
comes
today.
out from
Turns out he's not.
Washington, and this
a
being
boom
the age
operator
of
like I thought. He's
supreme
a sound
informality,
designer,
The
editor.
soldier clambers up the stairs, knocks on the door,
The Duke.
and Lincoln is in bed with David
Oh, I like
Derrickson,
the Duke.
who is
The Duke likes
a
me.
member of the Pennsylvania Bucktails.
Probably like one of the only
He's
people
also
that he's ever made a film for.
evidently wearing Lincoln's
Big
nightshirt.
tall guy. He has to duck down like that to get in
The
through the
story
doorway.
is that Lincoln
Timmy
became
Nolan's.
friendly with the officers
One night,
and some of the
I said,
soldiers.
Duke, one of
who
these
were guarding
times,
him.
first I
And
said, hey,
according to
Duke,
the soldiers' gossip, so
He's
friendly
big,
that with the
huge.
captain
He walks
of one of
into
the
the bar,
companies, he even
goes straight
slept
behind the
in the
bar,
same
grabs
bed
about
with him
6 or
and
8
lent his
bottles of
nightshirt.
alcohol, fills himself up and
Not an
drinks.
uncommon
Never pays for
practice
anything.
for men to share beds
He just
together
kind of
in
came with the
19th
territory
century.
when they bought the building.
But when they gossiped
The Duke
about
came
it,
with it. You
the
just kind of did it
connotation
that
for
way.
them was, here's a president of the United States.
I'm a lot like that
becoming
too,
friendly
Blake.
with the country
I
captain.
may not own no property, but still
And
own a
that's
piece
why
of
I think
it.
it's significant. What it shows you
They
is
put
Abraham
that shit-
Lincoln was
I'm pretty
willing to
nice
break
like that.
through a lot of
I
barriers
know.
that separated people.
I don't act up. Every
When
once
we
in a while.
think
it
about
does.
sexuality
No,
first. They thought about it last.
Anyway, so one day the Duke, I said to him,
Obviously,
kind of drunk, I'm at the bar.
in his life,
I'm out of money.
holding together the
I said,
Union.
Duke, one of these days you're gonna have to let me try that concoction of yours. He slides. He goes behind the bar. He grabs a fresh cup, dumps the whole thing in it, hands it to me, and Richard looks at me like, "Oh my God, what did he just do?" Because I was faded. Duke goes, "Here you go. I was just leaving anyway. It's a little bit watered down, but you'll like it." And he left. I took the drink. I ran upstairs. Richard was so pissed. I got so faded I could only see out of one eye by the end of the night. And this chick I was supposed to meet there, I didn't know if she was there or not because I couldn't see a fucking thing. I stumbled out to my car and went home. Actually, I didn't go home. I went to
Cabinet
the alley,
meetings were much more
slept in
than
my car.
showpieces.
So I don't drink and drive. That's for
kind
sure.
of
Yeah,
executive meetings that they become
already got one
today.
DUI,
They were
I'm not getting that
sessions at which
Actually, I
votes
do
were
drink and drive
taken
everywhere I say, but
by
whatever.
ministers.
Another story.
Votes
Quit
that were
drinking.
supposed to guide the chief executive. If he couldn't
used to
get his
drink and
cabinet to agree about something with a direct vote, so tradition dictated that
So
you
I
not
keep
pursue
hoping
the
the jet's gonna
policy.
take off so I can tell you what airline it is. Cause I
So
can
these were
guess what
serious
the airline's
things.
gonna be
And
the
when
vote
he
goes
heard
up.
that there
Right
were
now I'm
rumblings
seeing
that Seward was going to be objecting to something in the War
Southwest.
Department, or that the Attorney General was not